What's up, Moto Buddies? We're going to do a walkthrough today on this 2019 300 TPI fuel-injected street legal two-stroke bike. This one was special. This is one that we put through the Taco Motoco Skunk Works laboratory, and it turned out pretty amazing. We're pretty psyched about this machine right here. So this is a guy who found us and asked us to build this bike for him, and he wanted a bike that would do a Baja trip, all kinds of Utah single track, anything out west that he wanted to go ride on, and then have a plate, a street legal, completely street legal, that he could take in between the trails and do the connectors. So this machine is just pretty spectacular. I don't know of any other that's like it, and if you do know of one, let us know in the comments. We'd love to see pictures. We'd love to kind of compare notes about how your bike turned out and what you did to it, and how you're enjoying it and how you use it. So let's run through this machine. We'll start up here in the cockpit. So let's focus here on the Trail Tech. Got a Voyager Pro up here. This is for navigation and the bike controls as well. We've got, if you know about these Trail Techs, you know what they can do and what some of their features are. GPR4 stabilizer. Now notice, this is not a 6 days bike, but we wanted this to look a lot like a 6 days. So we put on these KTM hard parts, anodized triple clamps, 2 degrees different offset on these over stock. This little button right here, it's not a button, this is the low fuel, or I'm sorry, that's the low oil. These TPI bikes have that little oil tank, and we've kind of having a hard time trying to figure out where to put that. There's not a lot of space up here to make little brackets and whatnot, and it just seemed like a good idea to put a hole there, and then we silicone that in, and that's our oil light. You'll see here we got the get map switch. We're running get on this. We have the sick ass combo switch, ASV levers, and we really like these OD Rouge clip-on grips, super soft, just really extra comfort. Highway dirt bikes with the mirrors up there on the bar guards. And then notice this moto-minded stout mount. That's what the GPR has, its base, its powered base, and then that's secured to the stout mount sitting on top of the highway dirt bike's top clamp. And then we've got our Pro Taper Evo bars on there. On the suspension, it's resprung and then revalved with the Race Tech conversion kit. And then up front, we've got the moto-minded XL80 headlight. That is all the lumens. And then for the turn signals, these are the Taco Motoco fork wrap turn signals. We've got Canyon Dancer. These are really cool. We like these Canyon Dancer tie down straps. These radiator guards here, these are the Trail Techs. Super nice, like those. And then they also have this little feature where you get this protective shield here for the coolant hose for rock protection. That's really nice. And then we've got Warp 9 wheels up here on the front and back, attributes for the little fork, bottom of the fork leg protectors there. And then he's got custom spec wheels with the orange hubs and the orange nipples, black oversized spokes. And those have the Moto Z tractionator. That's the, what compound is that? That's the S. Trying to get in here. Yeah, the ST, the soft terrain. That's a great tire. This tire combo that we have on this bike is probably my favorite off-road trail set of tires. They've changed the formula on this front tire on the tread. It's no longer available. RIP, man. That was a really great tire. Liked it a ton. And then in the back, it's the tractionator again, and this is also the intermediate compound, and that's just really great, super good tread compound for all kinds of trail riding and off-road riding. Life isn't terrific, especially if you're hard on the throttle. These two strokes, these 300s, are not that tough on tires, and like on a 500 or a 501, it just shreds that tire. But if you know how to make a tire last, it's a great one. I've got Moose front and rear inside of these, and on the back here we've got the Motion Pro rim lock, oversized rim lock, and then these tires are balanced. Since we're here in the back, we've got the Tusk axle block kit, and then the nut Fastway on the shark fin back there. Coming up here, so this rear fender is a Taco Motoco exclusive. This is our rear fender, and then we put in these bullet turn signals, and we wire those for running lights. So they're both turn signal light and then constant on, half brightness for the running light. and then we do that up front for the front signals as well. So this bike has 4-way running light feature. Stock canister with the ProMoto end cap, and then Enduro Hog. They're cool guys out of, I think, Poland or Czechoslovakia, and they make this little plastic, it's kind of a molded, injected molded shield here. We kind of like those. Makes it look a little more trick, a little more factory. Seat concepts, custom graphics all the way around. Race tech, and then we did the bladder conversion on the rear. That's got the bladder instead of the piston. Recluse CX in there. E-line for the skid plate, and then a nice little Tusk add-on for the brake lever. The Evo Pegs, these are the Fastway Evo 4. The cool thing about these is if you're a little over or under typical height, you can raise and lower these. See how this little shim bracket right here, the spacer, you can flip that around and put it on the bottom to raise these up if you're a little under normal height. If you're a little over, you might want to run these on the bottom. It's all personal preference how you want to set that up, but it's nice to have the option anyway. And then we added a Trail Tech cooling fan on here, and it's got the external thermometer, and then you can set that. That's pretty cool. We went with the Pro Circuit pipe. This is the, which version is this? I guess they just call that the Platinum, Pro Circuit Platinum. And if I forget anything, we'll put a big description of everything that we've got on this bike in the notes at the end of this. And if you see something that we missed, put that in the comments as well. Just kind of scanning this side. I think that's about it over there. Talked about the headlights. So on this side, for the dual sport kit, which so that's a custom kit. You know, there's no off-the-shelf kit to turn these into a a dual sport bike. So it's all custom wired. We made the harness. We came up with all that. And then one of the things we wanted to do to keep this a little fresh was to use the Euro spec version of the switch here. And so he's got turn signals, on, off, high. So it's off, low, and then high on the headlight, which is a nice thing to have. A lot of the US spec switches do not have the off. So if you're ever trying to conserve your battery, you're in a situation where you wanted to kill your light, go stealth mode, or just save power, recharge your battery, you don't get that with the stock switch. And so this one or the sick ass gives you the off option. We went with the Euro spec one. Got some of the Tusk bling pieces up here, ASV again. And then he's got the quad lock, so he runs a phone. He's got his, probably a GPS program going on with his phone. Down here we put a SAE plug. This allows him to charge his battery or plug in a like a cell phone charger, USB cell phone charger. Got a little cover here for the oil on that bike. Obviously the Attributes oversized gas tank, and I do not remember what size that is, but we'll throw that in the notes as well. And then we've got the bulletproof TPS guard on there. We threw on some V-Force reeds. Got the Attributes stator cover on there. Okay, Fastway. We put the Fastway kickstand on there just for extra durability. It's a little longer also than the stock, and so the bike tends to sit up a little more upright than being leaned over with the stock. And then back here, very cool with the rear sprocket. That's the Dirt Tricks rear sprocket, and these come in 3 different colors: chrome, which is like basically silver, and black, and then they've got this one, which is the chromatic. So it might be hard to tell, but you can see that there's some purples and blues. And kind of as you move around, it changes colors. Very durable, very cool looking. That's a favorite product of ours. Okay, so looking under the air box and under the seat here, we've got the Motion Pro Coolant Reservoir bottles. So these bikes, if you get them hot and you're working them in some off-road conditions, some trail stuff, especially if you're working the clutch, you're gonna heat these up pretty good, and so that reservoir there is going to capture any of the overflow water, coolant out of the bike. And then up here, notice that we have the Get ECU. So this is particularly, it's a huge improvement over these bikes. A lot of guys on the 18s and 19s have problems with fuel delivery, ignition, just the overall drivability characteristics of these bikes. There are some known issues in terms of how they ride. And one of the real killer mods that you can do to these is throw on one of these Get ECUs, which we've tuned with our special Taco Motoco maps on here. and get these things running amazing, super well. We've got a lot of these out there. Kyle Brotherson from the Dirt Bike channel has one of these on his bike that he likes a lot. Tons of guys are running these. It's not an essential upgrade, but it's a huge gain over stock fuel and ignition. And so this particular one has the traction knob, which you see up here on the bars, and then that's where the ECU lives. The stock one comes out and you just kind of snug it in forward, and the seat brackets are gonna slip right in there. And we had to do a little surgery on the seat, shave off some of the side, you know, the little fingers here on the seat that go under there. We had to shave that down a little bit, but you'll get it in there. And then the Wi-Fi comm, that lives here in this side panel. So the subframe, the crossbar that goes down here towards the anchor point here on the frame, this crossbar right in here is a perfect spot to zip tie. You're not going to see that, it's buried in there, but that's where the Wi-Fi box live, and it just stays on the bike all the time. And then this other one here, this is for the map switch. So those two accessories all tuck in here really nice. And then we've got you know, the harness up there that goes to his accessory SAE cord up there on the front that we looked at a minute ago. So that is a pretty good look at what's going on with this bike. Just a really special machine, a hell of a lot of fun to ride. This thing is going to draw a lot of attention when he's cruising around his neighborhood with the plate on it, sitting at stoplights on a street legal 2-stroke 300 TPI bike. So if you've got any questions about this, leave us a comment, or you can call us or email us. Our contact information will be in the notes here for the video. And like and subscribe, all that nonsense. And thanks for checking out our bike. Go out and get some adventure.